What's up, guys? Lord Dakota here with an attempt at Pokemon Run Bun, one of the allegedly hardest Pokemon games in, hardest Nuzlocke Pokemon games to be created. I have done a few personal Nuzlockes before, but this will be my first attempt, my first on-stream attempt at a Pokemon hardcore Nuzlocke. It is indeed hardcore. In the few attempts that I have made, it has been incredibly difficult to at least try and attempt. So I will be attempting this. However, just be aware that I have done a few prior attempts before, and they have not gone very well. But we're gonna go ahead and give this an attempt. The previous Nuzlocks I've done before have been on Omega Ruby and Diamond. Diamond being my favorite generation core, Diamond being my favorite Pokemon game. But we are gonna go ahead and name there we go. We are ready to set off on our first encounter, or at least our first streamed encounter. The idea is hopefully, I've done a few Nuzlocks of this before, but my hope is, realistically, I really don't think I'm gonna be able to beat this game ever. But I want to polish those Nuzlocking skills. I want to be able to, I just want to be able to be better at Pokemon Nuzlocks. So I figure if this weren't the game to immediately be the trial by fire, then I don't know what is. But we're going to go ahead this an attempt. Cool, thanks. And I do use speed ups, of course, for my emulator. Okay, so here we are with our first choice. What I have found is that Turtwig, very reliable early game. And not to say that he can't be used late game. I have no idea what he's like late game. Never made it that far. But Turtwig I have found very valuable just for his ability show armor. Makes him immune to crits. Chimchar, my thoughts on Chimchar. He's a decent Pokemon. Has some good access to some fighting type. Fire type moves, though I just don't think I'm skilled enough to use him early game, so for this reason I'm not going to choose him on this attempt. Piplup, I love Piplup. He has great early game moves with Pluck, able to eat or steal berries, which are the main source of healing mid-battle early game. Able to steal berries from my opponent's Pokemon has really made my early game super easy. But my farthest attempt was made using a Turtwig, so we're not going to break too far from what's worked well for me. So I'm going to choose Turtwig for this run. Next run, I probably will to choose Piplup. I don't imagine this is going to be the only run that I'm doing, unless I go insane and I'm able to unlock my third eye, whatever, and just not crush this run. But I imagine if that were the case, a complete noob like myself would not be able to do that. Because this game, from what I have been able to find so far, this is a very hard game to nuzlocke. Even just beating the game itself, if I weren't even to try and nuzlocke it, would be an attempt in and of itself. And if anybody wants to try it, or if anybody would be interested in just seeing me try to beat it without nuzlocking it, I would totally be down for that. But this game, Run and Bun, was intended to be nuzlocked. There are a few things that I think they could have implemented to guarantee the nuzlocke, but I think the mod creator didn't want people to feel locked in to a nuzlocke if they didn't want to. So we're gonna name our first Pokemon after the assistant manager of the store, of my store, which would be Steven. Steven, if you're watching this, I will try not to kill you. It's a good idea to go to see me. Sure, why not? But yeah, obviously, I almost made a big mistake. Going out to see May without fully leveling up my Pokemon. But for those of you who aren't aware, I'm sure if you're tuning in to this video, you are aware, but for those of you who aren't, there are a few basic rules to a Nuzlocke. The first is that you can only catch one Pokemon per route. If a Pokemon faints, it is considered dead. And this particular Nuzlocke prevents you from being able to use items during battle. Let's do that. That's what I wanted. But you can't use items during battle. You can't, like most Pokemon games, when you knock out an enemy Pokemon or an opponent's Pokemon, you get a chance to switch. So you never really lose tempo. But in this one, it's set, so the opponent gets to send in their Pokemon without you getting a choice as to what Pokemon you want to send in next. So it adds a added level of difficulty. And obviously, we're going to play by the rules of the game, and any other rules I will mention as they become relevant. I will say that we do play with a dupes clause, so if I've already caught a Pokemon, I can't catch it again. This does two things. If I find an incredibly busted Pokemon, it limits me to one Pokemon. But it also, if I find an incredibly weak Pokemon, I'm not required to catch it multiple times. So I do play with dupes clause. So any duplicate Pokemon I am not allowed to catch again. So here we are with our first encounter. So the way Pokemon encounters work in a Nuzlocke or at least the way that I treat them. So out in the upper left corner, it tells you when you've entered a new area, as such Route 101. So I could catch a Pokemon here. And in Little Root Town, so here, I'm allowed to catch a Pokemon. The only Pokemon that I can catch is in this little pond here. So we're gonna set up our Super Rod for select. And let's heal up real quick. It shouldn't be an issue for catching Pokemon, but you never know. Don't want to end my first Nuzlocke at my first encounter. So here we go. Let's hope for a decent encounter. Yeah, I don't think this is a decent encounter. But it is the one that we get. So we're gonna catch our first Pokemon. And as with per Nuzlocke rules, every Pokemon that you catch gets a nickname. So this will go to my other assistant manager, Darius. I will try not to kill you, but no promises. Finian, not exactly a great encounter that I wanted for this one, but we at least have a water type. So as we have entered a new area, we get a new encounter, and it is Poochyena. This will give us access to a dark type, normal dark type. Okay, another not great encounter. Okay. Ooh, we almost lost that encounter. That's why I don't generally attack. All right. This one will be Lonnie. Lonnie, welcome to the team. Once again, I will try not to kill you. Lonnie being one of my shift leads at my work. For those of you who don't know, I am the general manager of Domino's. So I have quite a few employees that I can name these Pokemon after. Oh, we are in a new area. All right, Ponyta. Don't exactly like this matchup, but what can a level 2 do to me? All right, welcome to the team. You shall be known as Q. Q, I will try not to kill you. All right, we get another encounter here, and as we see it, we have one water type Pokemon. We get two more encounters. Ooh. I think we'll be alright with one water type. My hope is that we are able to get a Butter here. That would be nice. Hello, Tip. Okay. Not the greatest encounter. This attempt is not going to last very long if we get mid encounters. We're going to try our best. Welcome to the team, Kim. Kim, I will try not to kill you. And for our last encounter, we get Route 104 or 102 here. So these first few Pokemon are known as our 6-pack. And start intimidate, Starly. You do not still get not great encounters. I am not a fan. That means this Starly probably has keen eye. Well, welcome to the team, Zach. Six Pokemon in my team. Alright. This is kind of a iffy starting team. I don't have high hopes for this starting team, but who knows? I could be genuinely surprised. Accuracy strats could work. I haven't encountered too many attempts at being evasive early in game, so. Start the grind of just making it to Brawly. I've gotten fairly decent at making it past Brawly. Growl, wow. Natural Gift. I've used this a couple times up ahead. Super helpful because there is a fairy type up ahead, and one of the berries' natural gift is poison. Don't know if I'm gonna need to use that. We're gonna get rid of a growl. Don't know if I'm gonna need to use that up ahead, but I should be okay. Alright. So, basically, every in a normal Nuzlocke, you don't really need to worry too much about. Don't really need to worry too much about trainer battles. They're pretty easy. But with a game like this, it can be a little intense. So we are just going to do a little bit of planning. I'm going to load. Oh, I'm getting a call from Darius. Hold up. Darius just had a question about placing a truck order for my Domino's. Let's see. We've got our first team. Right now, I'm just looking at the Run Bun calculator. Seeing what our first battle looks like. Shouldn't be too big of an issue. Yeah, as I thought, it doesn't really matter what we do. We're just gonna dominate. Early game, we are pretty much smoking everyone. And we don't get much of a choice with this fight, so first trainer battle should be pretty easy. We're just gonna absorb and absorb. Pull up, why not absorb? I mean, there's a little of evasion strats, but this early in the game, it's super easy to work around. Just because we'll be able to like swap Pokemon to something else that's a little more like accuracy drops. Okay, we'll just switch to Q. And boom. I have a little bit of experience with this early game, so I'm not terribly worried about like too many of these battles. Especially like bug type Pokemon, we're just gonna swap into like our fire type, and if we're on the ropes, we'll swap into our flying type. Sturdy activates. Pin missile, not very effective. We're gonna Ember. And then this is where we'll swap into our flying type. Which is Aerial Ace. Perfect. Like, I've done this early game, as bad as it sounds, I've done this early game enough to know there's not many battles that I really have to be concerned over. This next guy looks like he's got grass type, fire type, and a water type. So grass type, let's lead with our fire type. We'll lead with Q. I should go back and heal. That is one thing that I usually do. Every chance I get, I usually go back to the Pokemon Center, heal up. I heal up whenever possible, which I am well aware down the road I'm not going to be able to. I did not add berries. That's okay. It shouldn't be too big of an issue. So we have a water type. Let's shift to Darius and water gun. Boom, boom, and water type. Let's go to grass. Can't be crit. Absorb. One more absorb. And there we go. Like I said, a lot of these first battles aren't a big deal. This next one might give me a little trouble. It's a metronome team, so I do want to make sure that I add berries. Let's give berries to all of my team. A bunch of fairy types, which if I had a poison type, that would come in very clutch. But this next team has a Swirlix and a Spinda. Swirlix has Fairy Wind and Metronome. So Metronome could be hit or miss, but realistically, we should be able to make it through this without any or too much hassle. The only problem is if Metronome decides to roll on Explode. I'd consider restarting the run right here and right now, just because losing another Pokemon or losing a Pokemon this early in the game, tragic, absolute tragic. Swirlix will lead with Steven because he's crit proof, which, by the way, that reminds me, what are the abilities? So Swift Swim, not worried about rain. Run Away, that's useless. Flame Body, that's not terrible. Swift Swim, Keen Eye. It hurts that Starly is not Intimidate and is instead Keen Eye. Keen Eye is a pretty, Intimidate is pretty busted. Keen Eye, not nearly as useful, I have found. So, I've already got a berry on each Pokemon. Not much to do except go into battle. And we're just gonna hope for the best. Let's see, against this bad boy. That's not the right Pokemon. That one is. Looks like Absorb is the best. Don't give me that. Leaf Tornado. Yeah, resist that pretty well. So we're just gonna keep absorbing. That hurt a little bit. Spinda. Alright, which one of these moves is most effective? We're looking at Bite. Bite being the most effective. Oh, it doesn't matter. It has Fake Out. Dark Pulse. Stupid berry. Whoa. Hey, perfect timing. It's Ember. We didn't get any. Oh, we did get a bird. Nice. Perfect. Let's go heal up. Actually, that should have been our last encounter. So we can just heal up here. Alright, so we do get an opportunity to do an encounter here. Note that there are people that save this for legendary encounters. I'm gonna be real. I'm not skilled enough to make it that far into the game So we're gonna go ahead and roll for our encounter here, or try and get an encounter here. Surskit. Oh, this could be huge for us, except that it doesn't have Intimidate. Oh, we're 0 for 2 on Intimidate mods. Oh, that hurts my soul. But now, what are we gonna name this? We're gonna name this after one of our pizza makers. Let's go Aubrey. Aubrey, I will try not to kill you, but no promises. Let's heal up. Now we have to do our obligatory catch tutorial. Kind of wish I had caught Ralts, but that's okay. Ralts would have been busted because we could have had access to a psychic fairy type eventually. Which would have been nice a little bit further down. Route 104, we get yet another encounter. What's our encounter going to be? Yeah. I need to turn off. That would help. This run's not making it very far. Don't have a decent selection of Pokemon. You will be sorry, Adrian. We'll try not to kill you, Adrian. Okay, so here we are encountering our first one that, or our second one that I'm kind of concerned about. This guy has a Pokemon with Sonic Boom, which does a guaranteed 20 each turn, or each time he clicks it. And as you can see, with 2 clicks of it, we are toast. However, I have equipped every one of my Pokemon with an Oranberry. So as long as their HP isn't 30 exactly, they will live 2 plus moves of Sonic Boom. So, in theory, we should be okay. However, it is important to know what he's leading with and what our Pokemon, what we should lead with. So it's looking like we should lead with Turtwig when he busts out Clobbopus. We either pivot into, it's looking like Starly, and then for sorry, Zach. I'm gonna go into Zach. And then Q is going to take a Clobbopus. And then Steven gonna take on the Krabby. Okay, easy. Absorb should do something. Stop flinching. Stop flinching. What are we doing here? Oh my goodness. So many flinches. Lonnie or Darius. Do something. Oh my goodness. The flinches are real. What the hell? Every single one of those guys was a flinch. I have never been flinched so... Oh my goodness. That could have been so bad, Darius. You almost died. Okay. Q. You're up. Please burn. A crit, I'll take it. Yes. Alright, so we are totally dead here. Let's get Lonnie in for a little bit of chip damage. You can live one. Kim, you are next. Give me well, we lost Kim. Oh, I want to reset right now because this team is just... I probably could have played this so much better, but it's such a garbage team. Enjoying this. I did not have high hopes for this team. Like, I got some pretty terrible encounters. I think if I'm gonna make it anywhere decent, I have to reset. That hurts my soul so much right now. I just... I didn't want to have to deal with this. sure a better Nuzlocke could have done something with that team, but I am not a better Nuzlocke. I am not that man. Do not set text speed up. Alright, here's to hopefully a better team, or at least one that's decent. Can I talk? We're gonna try Turtwig again. Absorb. Absorb. Don't do this. I am... Really? Are you kidding me? Oh my goodness. All the absorbs. That is wild. Fine, I'll go find your daughter. You seem like a very irresponsible parent, Birch, if you don't know where your daughter is. I think she's in Route 103. Alright. Here we go. Bite. Bite me. So attempt number 2. Please give me better encounters. Cool. Now we have Pokeballs. Let's set up. Not use. Register select. Okay. Better encounters, please. Okay. Sorry, Darius. Yeah, give me my shoes. Just went through this. Alright. This is even worse. Skitty. Yep. Kim, you're the Skitty this time. Sizzlepede. That's actually not the worst. It's not bad. Q. Welcome to the team. Not very happy about this encounter. You will be Lonnie. Fletchling. That's actually a decent encounter. Alright, Zach, welcome to the team. I'm done. I'm done. I'm not playing this anymore. Let's at least finish the battle. I'm tired. It's been a long day. Not been the greatest day. I'm not doing this. Have a good night.